The giant spaceship named Starcrusher hung in space above Earth. Admiral Zack stood on the bridge looking at the blue planet on the big screen. To him, Earth was just a small planet in a forgotten corner of space. "Start the greeting message," Zack ordered. "Let's see what these simple people can give us." Humans had only been traveling in space for a few hundred years. The Empire's alien experts thought humans were developing at an okay speed, but nothing special. Humans had only one colony on another star system, and they only knew 3 other alien races. The Empire's messenger, a tall gray alien named Ren, got ready to speak while the ship's machines connected to Earth's TV and radio systems. "All Earth channels are open, sir," said the communications officer. Ren spoke clearly. "People of Earth, hello from the Galactic Empire. We ruled 10,000 planets across the galaxy. We have watched you grow and now think you deserve our attention. We invite you to join our great empire as a protected world. You will get our advanced technology, safety, and can trade with us. In return, we only ask for fair payment and that you follow our rules. You have 1 day to get your leaders ready to talk with us." On Earth, in the United Nations Emergency Meeting Room in Geneva, Switzerland, world leaders watched the message in shock. President Susan Hill of the North American Union turned to her advisor, John Black. "They're not hiding anything. They want to take over our planet," she said angrily. John nodded with a serious face. "Their words make it clear. Protected world. Payment. They expect us to give up." Defense Secretary Mary White leaned forward. "Madam President, we need to start the SHIELD plan right now." "Are you sure?" asked UN Secretary General Paul King. "This is our first meeting with a galactic civilization. We should try talking first." Dr. Bill Green, head of Earth's Space Defense Program, shook his head. "Sir, this isn't a friendly visit. This is a warning before invasion. The SHIELD plan was made exactly for this situation." President Hill stood up, her mind made up. "Start the SHIELD plan and get me a direct line to this messenger." 12 hours later, Ren was getting restless. "Admiral, the humans haven't answered our generous offer. Maybe we should show them what we can do to encourage them to cooperate." Before Admiral Zack could answer, the communication system beeped. "Message coming in from Earth's government, sir." The main screen showed President Hill with representatives from Earth's major countries beside her. "Messenger Ren of the Galactic Empire," she began, her voice strong and clear. "We have heard your message and thought about your offer. Speaking for all humans, I must tell you that we say no." Ren blinked his big eyes in surprise. "Maybe you don't understand. The Empire is offering you protection and technology better than what you have now." "We understand perfectly," President Hill replied. "What you call protection, we call control. Earth will not become a protected world, paying tribute or colony of any empire. Our freedom is not open for discussion." Admiral Zack stepped into view. "This is unheard of. No species has ever said no to imperial protection. Think again about your position, or we will have to show you our power." Secretary White stepped forward. "Before you threaten us, Admiral, let me be clear about something. Earth is not helpless. We have been getting ready for this day for generations." "Getting ready? You've only had basic spaceflight for a few hundred years," Zack laughed. Dr. Green spoke next. "Admiral, we've been catching signals from space for over 300 years. We've watched distant battles, heard messages about imperial expansion. We've built our defenses based on what we learned. This is your last chance," Zack warned. "Give in or face what happens next." President Hill smiled slightly. "No, Admiral. This is your last chance. Earth and its colonies are declaring ourselves a free zone. You are not welcome here. You have 6 hours to take your ships out of our solar system." The message ended, leaving the Imperial group in shocked silence. "Such pride," Zack finally said. "Prepare to fire at their moon colony. Something small but impressive. Let's see how quickly they change their minds when they see Imperial weapons." In the secret command center under the Rocky Mountains, General Frank Harris watched the alien ships on the big screen. Around him, military officers and scientists worked at computer stations tracking every move the aliens made. "They're taking positions for an attack," said Commander Linda Ross. pointing to movement patterns on her screen. Looks like they're aiming at New Armstrong Base on the moon. General Harris nodded. Just as we expected. Alert the moon base and activate the shield network. Let's show these aliens what Earth can really do. Dr. Green rushed into the command center, his face flushed with excitement. The president's message worked perfectly. They took the bait. 300 years of listening and learning, General Harris said with a grim smile. 300 years of building and preparing, and they think we're just simple humans with basic technology. On his secret console, he pressed a series of buttons that sent commands to hidden satellites throughout the solar system. Systems that had remained dormant for decades came to life, powered by technology the Empire thought was far beyond human understanding. Commander Ross looked up from her station. Shield network is active, sir. All defense stations report ready. Now, we wait, said Dr. Green. The real first contact begins when they realize we're not what they expected. General Harris nodded, watching the alien ships position themselves for what they thought would be an easy demonstration of power. Today, the Empire learns that humanity isn't just another species to be conquered. Today they learn that Earth fights back. 3 hours after Earth said no, Admiral Zack stood looking at a screen showing Earth's moon and the human base there. New Armstrong Base had about 5,000 people living in large domes. Aim at the empty area next to their main dome, he ordered. We'll show them how precise and powerful we are without killing anyone. The Empire isn't mean, just convincing. The weapons officer nodded. Target locked, Admiral. Energy cannon ready. Fire. The Star Crusher's main weapon fired, sending a bright beam of energy toward the moon. But instead of hitting the surface, the beam disappeared against an invisible wall about 2,000 kilometers above the moon. What happened? Zack shouted. Unknown energy shield, Admiral. The science, officer said, looking confused. It seems to be some kind of protection shield, but different from anything we have. That's impossible, Wren muttered. They shouldn't have shield technology yet. The communications system beeped again. Message coming in from Earth. This time, Defense Secretary Mary White was on screen. Admiral Zack, I see you found our defense shield. Maybe now you'll take us more seriously. This technology, Zack began, is ours, White finished for him. Like Dr. Green said, we've been preparing for a very long time. Your 6-hour deadline still stands, but after your attack, I suggest you don't test us further. The message ended. Suddenly, scan the whole solar system, Zack ordered. Find where that shield is coming from. As the Empire's sensors searched through the solar system, they found more surprises. Hidden bases on Mars and Venus, defense stations in the asteroid belt, a network of satellites around Earth itself, hidden until now. Admiral, the tactical officer called out, we're detecting many weapons powering up throughout the system. Their technology, it's much more advanced than we thought. A young officer ran to Zack's side. Sir, we've decoded some of their messages. They're talking about something called the Guardian program. It looks like they've had watching posts beyond their solar system for decades. Wren's face turned pale. They've been watching us? More than watching, the intelligence officer added. They've been studying us, learning our weak spots. Admiral Zack's communicator beeped. It was his second in command from the backup ship. Admiral, we've detected strange activity in Earth's orbit defense network. They seem to be aiming at our engines. Before Zack could answer, several precise energy beams hit the Star Crusher's engines, disabling them without damaging any life support systems. The communications screen turned on again without warning. This time it was Dr. Green. Admiral, we've disabled your main engines. Your life support and other systems still work fine. This is not a war act, but our own demonstration. You have 3 hours left to leave our system. Your smaller ship still work and your backup ship is untouched. I suggest you move your crew and leave. The screen went black. How? Zack asked no one in particular. How could they have such advanced technology? In a secret base under the Atlantic Ocean, Chief Engineer Jane Smith smiled as she watched the disabled Empire flagship on her screen. 20 years of her life had been spent taking apart crashed alien ships and studying stolen alien messages. The energy shield was her greatest work, a defense system made specifically to stop Empire weapons. "The shield plan is working perfectly," she said to her team in the underwater base. "All defense systems are working." On the hidden defense platform high above Earth, Captain Dan Miller watched the Empire ships closely. "They're still trying to start their main engines again, but our aim was perfect. They've started moving their crew to their backup ships." Back on the Star Crusher, Admiral Zack had made his decision. "Start moving everyone to the backup ships. We're leaving this system." "Admiral," Ren protested, "the Emperor won't accept retreat. This is just a simple world." "Simple?" Zack laughed bitterly. "They've been 3 steps ahead of us since we got here. Whatever these humans are, Ren, they are not simple, and I won't sacrifice my crew to learn that lesson again." On Earth, in the Central Command Room, President Hill and her team watched the Empire ships with careful eyes. "They're retreating," General Harris said, pointing to the movement patterns on the big screen. "Looks like they're abandoning their main ship." Dr. Green nodded with satisfaction. "Just as we predicted. They never expected a simple world to have such advanced defenses." "What about the crashed alien ships?" asked Secretary White. "The ones we've been studying for all these years?" "Still our best-kept secret," Dr. Green replied. "The Empire doesn't know we recovered their failed scout ships from the past century. They don't know we learned their language, their technology, their weaknesses." President Hill watched the screen thoughtfully. "Will they come back?" "With a bigger fleet next time," General Harris said grimly. "They won't take this defeat lightly." "Then we'll be ready," President Hill said firmly. "Activate Phase 2 of the SHIELD plan. It's time to show the galaxy that Earth isn't just another world to be conquered." In space, the Star Crusher floated, powerless as smaller ships carried its crew to the backup vessels. Admiral Zack stood on the bridge of his new command ship, watching his flagship being abandoned. "Set course away from this system," he ordered. "Maximum speed once we're clear. The Emperor will demand an explanation," Ren warned. Admiral Zack stared at the small blue planet on his screen. "I'll tell him the truth. These humans are not what we thought. They've been preparing for centuries. They have technology that matches our own, and most importantly, they're willing to fight." As the Empire ships moved away from Earth, hidden sensors throughout the solar system tracked their every move. In bases on Earth, the Moon, Mars, and beyond, humans continued their work, building more defenses, developing more weapons, preparing for the next encounter. The first battle was over. Earth had won without firing a single shot. But the war for humanity's place in the galaxy had just begun. 1 month after the embarrassing retreat from Earth, Admiral Zack stood before Emperor Rex in the grand throne room on the capital planet of Star Prime. The huge room was filled with important people from the Empire's court, all eager to see the Admiral punished for his failure. "You left an Imperial flagship behind," the Emperor said, his voice echoing through the hall. "You ran away from a simple planet without a fight. Explain yourself, Admiral, before I decide your punishment." Zack stood tall, even though he knew his career and maybe his life was in danger. "Your Majesty, the humans were not what they seemed. Their technology is much more advanced than our report said. They disabled our flagship with perfect aim while keeping life support working, showing both power and mercy." The Emperor leaned forward. "You talk about these humans like they are worthy enemies. They have barely left their own planet." "A trick, Your Majesty," Zack replied. "They have pretended to be a young species while secretly preparing for space threats. They knew about the Empire long before we contacted them." Intelligence Director Kree stepped forward. "Admiral Zack's report, while hard to believe, is supported by our analysis. The humans have somehow gotten advanced technology without us noticing. More worrying, they seem to have made specific defenses against Imperial weapons." The Emperor's face darkened. "How is this possible?" "We are still investigating," Kree admitted, "but our early findings suggest they may have found technology from observation posts we thought were destroyed in failed expansion attempts hundreds of years ago." "These humans learn from our failures," the Emperor said thoughtfully. "Interesting." "There's more, Your Majesty," Zack added. Since our retreat, we've detected unusual activity in systems near Earth. It seems they are expanding their defense network. They're getting ready for our return." The Emperor stood up, his mind made up. "Then we will not disappoint them. Gather, the 7th Fleet. We will crush this human resistance and learn how they got our technology." 3 weeks later, the massive Imperial fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. 50 big ships, including 3 super dreadnoughts, formed a battle line that would have scared any civilization in the galaxy. On Earth, in the Unified Defense Command Center under Mount Rush, Major Scott watched the incoming fleet. "Here, sir. Imperial 7th Fleet, just as our spies predicted." General Lisa nodded grimly. "Right on time. Are the Guardians in position?" "Yes, ma'am. All 37 platforms show green status. And the shield system?" "Fully working, General. We can activate it when you give the order." On the bridge of the Imperial Super Dreadnought Final Victory, Grand Admiral Ken watched the small blue planet with cold determination. No response to our arrival, no panic. Either they haven't seen us yet or they're very confident. "We are receiving a message from Earth, Grand Admiral," the communications officer reported. The screen showed General Lisa, her expression calm. "Grand Admiral, this is Earth Unified Defense Command. Your presence breaks our sovereign space. You are ordered to leave immediately." Ken laughed. "I see Admiral Zack was right about your confidence, General. But you face the Emperor's 7th Fleet now. Your tricks won't save you." "This is not a negotiation, Admiral," Lisa replied. "You have 1 hour to leave or we will remove you by force." "Remove us? With what fleet?" Ken gestured to the empty space around Earth. "I see no ships that could challenge even one of my destroyers." Lisa smiled. "We don't need ships, Admiral. You're already surrounded." Right then, 37 massive structures appeared throughout the solar system, the Guardians. Each was a mix of Earth ingenuity and recovered alien technology, armed with weapons specifically designed to counter Imperial systems. "These platforms are just the first layer of our defense," Lisa continued. "The second is already targeting your fleet. From hidden bases on Mars, Europa, and Titan, hundreds of robot fighting drones launched, forming attack patterns around the Imperial fleet. These are just automated defenses," Lisa explained. "No human lives at risk. We prefer not to fight directly when unnecessary." Ken's face hardened. "Your toys don't scare me, General. The Emperor has demanded your surrender and I will deliver it." He turned to his weapons officer. "Target their main defense platforms and fire." The super dreadnoughts fired together, sending devastating energy beams toward the nearest Guardians. But just like before, the beams disappeared against invisible barriers. "As I said, Admiral," Lisa continued, "your presence here is unwelcome. Since you refuse to leave peacefully, we'll show you why." She nodded to Major Scott, who activated the shield system. A wave of energy pulsed through the solar system, and suddenly every Imperial ship lost power to their weapons systems. "What is happening?" Ken demanded. "Weapons systems not responding, Admiral," his tactical officer reported. "Some kind of targeted energy pulse, but unlike anything in our records." On Earth, Dr. Green joined General Lisa at the command console. "The shield system is working exactly as designed. Phase 3? Lisa nodded. "Execute Phase 3. Throughout the Imperial fleet, navigation systems suddenly came to life, but not under Imperial control. One by one, each ship's computers plotted a course away from Earth. "Admiral," the helmsman of the Final Victory called out, "our navigation systems are being overridden. The ship is turning around." Ken slammed his fist on the console. "Shut down all automated systems. Return to manual control." "Too late for that, Admiral," Lisa said from the still active screen. "Your ships are already moving. We're escorting you out of our space. You may regain control once you're beyond our defensive perimeter." "This is an act of war," Ken snarled. "No, Admiral," Lisa corrected him. "This is an eviction notice. Earth is not open for colonization. Not now, not ever. The entire Imperial fleet, powerless to resist, was methodically pushed out of the solar system by Earth's defense systems. The message was clear: humanity would not be conquered. In the Emperor's private chambers on Star Prime, Rex watched the live feed from the Seventh Fleet with growing rage. His greatest military force, helpless against what was supposed to be a minor world. "Impossible," he whispered, his fists clenched. 50 ships, 3 super dreadnoughts, the pride of the Empire. Intelligence Director Kree stood silently nearby, watching his Emperor process the humiliation. "How?" Rex finally asked. "How could they do this?" "The humans have been more careful than we realized, Your Majesty," Kree replied. "Based on the technology they've displayed, we believe they've been recovering and studying our crashed ships for centuries, ships we thought were destroyed in old expansion attempts. And they've turned our own technology against us," Rex said bitterly. "Not exactly, Your Majesty. They've improved upon it. What we're seeing is not just Imperial technology but a hybrid of multiple species advancements, combined with human innovation." The Emperor stared at the screen, watching as the mighty Seventh Fleet was forced to retreat like scolded children. "What else have they recovered? What else have they learned?" "That's what concerns us most, Your Majesty. We don't know the full extent of their capabilities yet." Rex turned away from the screen, his mind already plotting. "Send a message to Fleet Admiral Terra. It's time for a new approach with these humans. If force won't work, perhaps diplomacy will." "Diplomacy, Your Majesty? With a species that has humiliated us twice?" "Sometimes, Director Kree, one must step back to move forward. These humans have earned our attention. Now, they will earn our respect, one way or another." 6 months after the defeat of the Imperial Seventh Fleet, the Imperial Palace on Star Prime was unusually quiet. The normal show and ceremony had been replaced by a serious mood as the Emperor met with his High Council. "2 fleets, Emperor," Rex said, his voice dangerously low. 2 fleets humiliated by a single small world. None of the councilors dared speak. "Our intelligence was wrong. Our approach was wrong. Everything about our understanding of these humans was wrong." The Emperor turned to his newly appointed Fleet Admiral Terra. "What have you learned from studying their tactics?" Admiral Terra stood. "Your Majesty, the humans used a defense strategy unlike anything we've seen before. Their technology seems to be a mix of their own ideas and systems from multiple species, including our own. Most concerning is their ability to target specific systems in our ships while leaving others working, a precision we cannot yet match." "And their attack capabilities?" the Emperor asked. "Untested, Your Majesty," Terra replied. "They have focused entirely on defense. They did not destroy a single Imperial ship despite having the clear ability to do so." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "A show of mercy or weakness?" Foreign Minister Dax cleared his throat. "Your Majesty, if I may. 3 days ago, we received a formal message from Earth. They are requesting diplomatic relations with the Empire, not as subjects, but as equals." A murmur ran through the council chamber. "Equals?" the Emperor scoffed. "They reject our protection, humiliate our fleets, and now demand equality? With respect, Your Majesty," Dax continued, "they have earned consideration. Their message included a detailed analysis of our recent attacks and a proposed treaty that would establish a neutral zone between our territories. They wish to set borders with the Empire." The Emperor laughed bitterly. "The Empire does not negotiate. It conquers." Grand Strategist Vel, who had remained silent until now, spoke carefully. "Your Majesty, perhaps conquest is not the only path to greatness. These humans have shown abilities that could benefit the Empire if used properly." "You suggest an alliance?" the Emperor asked in disbelief. "I suggest being practical," Vel replied. "A 3rd fleet might succeed where 2 have failed. But at what cost? The resources needed, the potential losses. Meanwhile, other threats grow at our borders. The Hive gets bolder every day. The Quantum Alliance watches for any sign of Imperial weakness." The Emperor was silent for a long moment. "Bring me this proposed treaty. Let us see what these humans think equality means." On Earth, in the United Nations headquarters in New York, the newly formed Department of Space Affairs was in session. Secretary Harry Green addressed the assembled representatives. "The Imperial response to our proposal has arrived," he announced. "They have agreed to diplomatic talks to be held on the neutral world of Proxima Centauri b." President Hill smiled. "They're taking us seriously now." "They don't have much choice," Dr. Green noted. "Our analysis suggests they're facing pressure on multiple fronts. The Empire isn't as stable as they want us to believe, which makes them dangerous," General Lisa added. "Cornered animals are the most unpredictable." "Speaking of unpredictable," Harry continued, "we've received messages from 3 other galactic powers. The United Worlds, the Star Republic, and the Free Planets have all expressed interest in establishing relations with Earth." "Word travels fast," Hill observed. "No one has successfully stood up to the Empire in generations," Green explained. "We've become something of a galactic curiosity." "Or a potential ally," Lisa suggested. 3 weeks later, on the terraformed surface of Proxima Centauri b, humanity made its formal entrance onto the galactic stage. The diplomatic team was led by UN Secretary-General King, with representatives from all Earth nations and colonies. The Imperial delegation, led by Foreign Minister Dax, arrived in a display of controlled grandeur, impressive enough to maintain face, but not so overwhelming as to appear threatening. "Secretary-General King," Dax began the formal greeting. "The Galactic Empire acknowledges the sovereign status of Earth and its colonies. We come seeking mutual understanding." King nodded respectfully. "Minister Dax, humanity welcomes this opportunity for peaceful dialogue. We believe there is much our civilizations can learn from each other." As the formal proceedings continued, Dr. Karen, Earth's leading alien expert, found herself in conversation with the Imperial Cultural Attaché. "Your people's development is unprecedented," the attaché admitted. "Most species either advance too quickly and destroy themselves, or progress too slowly and fall to outside threats. Somehow humans found a perfect balance, appearing vulnerable while secretly preparing." "It wasn't planned that way," Dr. Karen explained. "We were simply careful. When we detected our first alien signals 3 centuries ago, they were distress calls, civilizations being absorbed by the Empire. We decided then that we would advance at our own pace, in our own way." "A wise decision," the attaché conceded. In a private room next to the main conference hall, President Hill met with Emperor Rex himself, a diplomatic courtesy that surprised the Earth delegation. "Your Majesty," Hill began, "I appreciate your willingness to meet personally." The Emperor studied her with ancient eyes. "I wished to see for myself the leader who defied the Empire and lived to speak of it. Your people have impressed me, President Hill. Few have earned such respect." "We didn't seek conflict," Hill replied. "We sought only to maintain our independence." "And yet you were prepared for war," the Emperor noted. "Your defenses were specifically designed to counter Imperial technology." Hill smiled. "We prepared for all possibilities. The universe is vast and not always friendly." "Indeed." The Emperor leaned forward. "I must ask, why did you not destroy our fleet when you had the chance? Your restraint puzzles me." "Because destruction is easy. Your Majesty, building something lasting is the true challenge. We believe in defending ourselves, yes, but not in unnecessary bloodshed." The Emperor was silent for a moment, a philosophy the Empire has perhaps forgotten. "There was a time, thousands of years ago, when we too valued creation over conquest." "It's never too late to remember," Hill suggested. "The treaty signed that day would be known throughout the galaxy as the Proxima Agreement. It established Earth and its colonies as a sovereign region, created trade deals with the Empire, and most importantly, recognized humanity as equals on the galactic stage." As the Earth delegation prepared to return home, Dr. Green stood with General Lisa watching the 3 suns of the Proxima system set in sequence. "Do you think it will last?" Green asked. Lisa considered the question. "The peace? Maybe. The Empire respects strength, and we've shown them ours. But more importantly, We've shown them there's another way. A new beginning, Green mused. Not subjects or rulers, but partners. We have a long way to go, Lisa acknowledged. The galaxy is full of powers just as ambitious as the Empire. But today, humanity took its place among the stars, not as conquerors or conquered, but as architects of our own destiny. Back on Earth in the Unified Defense Command Center, Major Scott monitored the completion of the newest Guardian platform in orbit around Mars. Shield plan complete, he reported with a smile. Earth is safe. Across the vast expanse of space, news of the Proxima Agreement spread rapidly. The species that had long lived under Imperial shadow watched with growing interest as the small, blue planet called Earth rewrote the rules of galactic politics. Humanity had arrived on the cosmic stage not with conquest, but with conviction. Not with surrender, but with strength. The message was clear to all who heard it. Earth was not to be messed with, but neither was it to be feared. And throughout the stars, a new phrase entered the language of 100 alien species, a philosophy that would define humanity's place in the cosmos. Strength through independence, peace through readiness. The end.